Look at the crowd. We've got a great crowd here for the first concert of the 2016 season. Actually, this is the 44th annual summer concert series here on the Town Green in Windsor. Welcome to you all. We have a great lineup this entire summer, starting with this great band for the very first time here in Windsor, the First Company Governor's Foot Guard. This concert is being sponsored by Kimberly Hall. You can see their table right over here to the left. Thank you, Kimberly Hall, for coming here, sponsoring tonight's concert. And also, look at the other tables here. Of course, the Windsor Lions Club is here. They are here every concert selling popcorn and refreshments. Make sure you frequent their table. And of course, Menchie's. Menchie's is here as well. Menchie's is located over in the Stop and Shop Plaza right off of Kennedy Road. And of course, just past that is the Windsor Chamber of Commerce and First Town Downtown table. They, of course, are the presenting sponsors for the entire concert series. They're the ones that organize this entire group of concerts for the entire summer. A couple of their announcements I want to make mention of. In back of the town hall is the portable restroom in case you need to use that. And that is all I have. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I would like to introduce the First Company Governor's Foot Guard.
Thank you very much. I'd like to first off apologize for getting started a little late. Several of us got stuck in Hartford and couldn't get out, but we finally made it here. I would like to invite all of you who are able to please stand for our national anthem. While the band's doing a little bit of tuning behind you, thank you for having us here tonight. We are the First Company Governor's Foot Guard Band from Hartford, Connecticut. We're pleased to be here. We have a wonderful program prepared, and we hope you will enjoy it. No summer concert would be complete without a march by John Philip Sousa. Sousa was born in 1854, and he lived to be 77 years old. He was known for composing American military and patriotic marches, and it was often referred to as the American March King. Some of his most famous marches include the Washington Post, Semper Fidelis, which is the March of the Marine Corps, the Thunderer, and of course, our national march, Stars and Stripes Forever. But during his lifetime, Sousa also wrote many waltzes and at least 15 operettas. At the age of 13, he enlisted in the Marine Corps. He was listed as his official rank, he was listed as boy. When he reached the age of 18, he was promoted to musician. He left the Marines at the age of 20, but returned 5 years later and remained with the band for 12 years, serving as the conductor for most of the time. In 1892, he again left the Marines and formed his own band. The John Philip Sousa Band toured extensively for nearly 40 years, performing more than 15,000 concerts. Surprisingly, the band only marched in 8 parades. Hail to the Spirit of Liberty, the march we'd like to play for you tonight, was written in 1900 and first performed by the Sousa Band in Paris at the unveiling of the Lafayette Monument. Sousa was extremely proud to represent the United States as his hero of both the American and French revolutions was honored. Hail to the Spirit of Liberty. One of the most prolific American composers over the last 50 years is John Williams. Williams is known for composing the music for many of the most successful motion pictures of the late 20th and early 21st centuries. Most everyone recognizes the stirring melodies of Star Wars, the heroic entrances of Indiana Jones, E.T. flying a bicycle across the full moon, and the wizardry of Harry Potter. And who can forget the suspense of that two-note theme from the basses, indicating the arrival of Jaws. A Hymn to New England was written as accompaniment to the IMAX film New England Time Capsule, shown at the Museum of Science in Boston. Boston Pop's percussionist and arranger Pat Hollenbeck orchestrated the piece to fit the IMAX film. In an interview with the Boston Globe, he said, "John Williams had a lot of other commitments, so he wrote the themes, and I basically put it together." Anyway, we give you a Hymn to New England. The second king of the march in the United States was Henry Fillmore. Living from 1881 until 1956, he followed John Philip Sousa as a great composer of American music. He composed more than 250 pieces and arranged hundreds more for orchestras and bands of the time. Fillmore composed under many pseudonyms such as Harold Bennett, Ray Hall, Al Hayes, and Henrietta Moore. In 1938, having been advised by his doctor that he had just a few months to live, Fillmore retired to Florida where, for the next 18 years, he worked with high school bands and composed for the Florida State University, the University of Florida, and the University of Miami. In 1930, Fillmore's band was to be featured at the Cincinnati Automobile Show. At the time, a popular horn was being offered as an option on automobiles, and it was called the klaxon. Not only did Fillmore name his new march the Klaxon, or March of the Automobiles, and dedicate it to the producers of the klaxon automobile horn, he created a new instrument consisting of several klaxon horns mounted on a table and powered by a battery. The new instrument, which he dubbed the klaxophone, did not survive. But the march was quite popular, so we'd like to play for you the klaxon. We'd like you to use your imagination a little bit and venture down south for our next song. Imagine yourself in the outskirts of New Orleans. It's a hot summer morning, and there's a funeral procession coming down the street. You hear the sad, soulful sound of the band as it leads the departed to its final resting place. After the deceased has been laid to rest and final goodbyes have been said, the band cuts the body loose and goes into an up-tempo style as the funeral attendees celebrate the life of the deceased. Please enjoy and imagine just a closer walk with thee. Clifton Williams, no relation to John, is another fine example of American composer of music. He was born in 1923 in Arkansas and passed away in 1976 in Florida. He served in the Army Air Corps Band and taught at both the University of Texas and the University of Miami. His specialty was the French horn and the mellophone. While a student at LSU, Williams joined the Phi Mu Alpha Sinfonia Music Fraternity. In 1960, the fraternity commissioned Williams to write The Sinfonians, a concert march based on 2 songs from the Phi Mu Alpha songbook, Hail Sinfonia, Come Brothers Hail, and Men of Song. It begins with a powerful brass fanfare, then moves to an interesting duet featuring the percussion section and Eileen Charo on piccolo, and then the full band joins in for bringing both fraternal melodies to a stirring conclusion, the Sinfonians. In 1975, a new show opened at the 46th Street Theater on Broadway and ran for 936 performances before closing in 1977. Set in the era of Prohibition, the story is a satire on corruption in the criminal justice system and the concept of celebrity criminal. In 1996, a revival of the show opened, and on November 23, 2014, it surpassed Cats with its 7,486th performance. It trails only Phantom of the Opera for longest-running show in Broadway history. With such stars over the years as Gwen Verdon, Cheetah Rivera, Jerry Orbach, Anne Reinking, Bibi Nurath, Renee Zellweger, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and Richard Gere. And with such songs as the Cell Block Tango, We Both Reach for the Gun, Roxy, Razzle Dazzle, and All That Jazz, we bring you selections from Chicago. We'd like to conclude the first part of our concert with a march that was written on the night of the bombing of Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941, by James V. Colonna, and arranged for concert band by his son, James C. Colonna. This is the America Forever March. We'd like to take just a short break of maybe 5 to 10 minutes so you can get something to drink and cool off a little bit. We'd like to invite you to please patronize the refreshments that are over there, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Thank you. That was a march called The Governor's Own by Alton Adams. As we are the first company Governor's Foot Guard Band, we like to consider ourselves the Governor's Own. The first company Governor's Foot Guard was formed in 1771, and it is the oldest military unit in continuous service in the United States. Originally called the Governor's Guard, its purpose was to attend upon and escort the governor and the legislature when in session and on Inauguration Day. For a time, Connecticut had two capitals, one in Hartford, the other in New Haven. So a second company of guards was formed in New Haven. And we soon became the first company Governor's Guards and the second company Governor's Guards. After that, two horse units were added, two cavalry units, and our name changed again to the first company Governor's Foot Guard. Together, these four units, the 1st and 2nd Foot and the 1st and 2nd Horse, make up the organized militia of the state of Connecticut. Music has always been a part of the Foot Guard, with drums and fifes leading the way in colonial times. In the 1800s, when there was need of a band, they would hire one of the many local bands in Hartford, such as the Colt Band. In 1904, the state legislature approved the formation of a band within the Foot Guard, with members holding ranks and privileges like the other members. In 2004, the band celebrated our 100th anniversary with a gala concert at the Bushnell in Hartford. The Foot Guard is always on the lookout for new members. If you're interested in history, especially military history, and if you enjoy military drill and ceremony, then the Foot Guard might be of interest to you. The band requires that you play a band instrument and be above average in proficiency. For non-musicians, we have our color guard and infantry. Any member of the Foot Guard must be a resident of Connecticut, be at least 18 years of age, pass a physical, and pass a background check. Being willing to march is also a requirement, as we do a lot of marching. If you have any questions about the Foot Guard, feel free to speak with any of the members up here. Visit our website at www.governorsfootguard.com, or you may see our commanding officer, Major Mark Boudreau, who is sitting in the audience. Thank you for coming, Mark. Another popular composer of music for the concert band is James Swearingen. Many of his pieces represent differing parts and cultures within this beautiful United States. Such titles as American Portrait, Carolina Legend, Grand Canyon Overture, and La Fiesta Brava stir the imagination before a note is even heard. Tonight we'd like to play for you a piece that evokes the sights and sounds of the Appalachian Mountains. It's called Blue Ridge Saga. As we've just celebrated our nation's 240th birthday, I think it's fitting that we feature the music of so many American composers. Robert Sheldon is another. In fact, the first company band commissioned Mr. Sheldon to compose a piece for the band's 100th birthday. That piece was called The Pride of the Grenadiers, after our traditional marching uniforms with the red coats and the tall black bearskin hats. Tonight we'd like to play one of Robert Sheldon's newer pieces, a circus-style march called The Storm Chasers. Now, normally a piece of music will have instructions indicating how fast or how slow it's supposed to go, or how loud or how soft, by using fancy Italian words like piano, or vivace, or largo. This one's a little different. The first marking we have in the song is tempo alla screamer. And as we get close to the end, it just says, bring it. Needless to say, this song goes fast. The Storm Chasers. The Genius of Ray Charles was the title of an album released in 1959, which fused the styles of jazz, gospel, big band, and pop into what became known as soul. We hope you enjoy I Can't Stop Loving You, Hallelujah, I Love Her So, What I Say, Georgia on My Mind, and our tribute to Ray Charles called The Genius of Ray Charles. Okay, we've reached the patriotic portion of tonight's program. This next number was written in 1983 and has been a staple of most patriotic performances since then, especially in the time following the Gulf Wars in the early 90s and, of course, after 9/11. The composer says this about the song: "I always wanted to write a song about America. We just need to be more unified. I'm from California, and I don't know anybody from New York or Virginia. I wanted to mention the four corners of the United States. I could have picked just about any cities like Seattle to Miami, but Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA just fit poetically. Here to perform Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA is a man of many talents: saxophonist, lawyer, and vocalist, Sergeant Ralph Sherman."
If tomorrow all the things were gone I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I'd thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. To be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I'd gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, well, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Thank you.
One more from John Philip Sousa. Written at the height of America's involvement in World War I, John Philip Sousa's Bullets and Bayonets salutes the effort of the American infantry during that conflict. Bullets and Bayonets. Okay, it's audience participation time. We'd like to honor the men and women who have served in the armed forces as we play this next selection called the Armed Forces Salute. It's a medley of the 5 service songs: the Army, the Coast Guard, the Air Force, the Navy, and the Marines. And when you hear your service song being played, I'd like you, if possible, to stand and be recognized. Thank you. United States Marine Corps. United States Air Force. The United States Navy. Thank you again, and we thank all of our service people. Thank you again to the town of Windsor for having us here tonight. We wish you all a relaxing and enjoyable summer. We hope the other nights of your summer series have at least as good weather, if not better, the rest of the summer. We'd like to conclude tonight's performance with a very beautiful arrangement by Carmen Dragon of America the Beautiful. Okay, one more short one.